Good evening, and what is going on? As we know, everybody's preparing for family time and Thanksgiving tomorrow, but we got this game to talk about that the Buffalo Bills absolutely feasted on the New York Jets. Um,
Yes.
Actually, let me get this up the screen. We ain't talk about Rasual Douglas yet, but we will in a minute. Big bounce back game for the Buffalo Bills. Big bounce back game. Obviously, as you can honestly say, with the season possibly on the brink of collapsing. Obviously, last week was tumultuous. Had to fire offensive coordinator Brian Ken Dorsey. Joe Brady takes over interim. We don't know what to expect. We played this Jets team that our offense have struggled against. I'd say the last 3 or 4 games we have struggled with them, even though we won the majority of those games. Still been a struggle. A lot of questions about head coach Sean McDermott, his job security, his leadership with this team. Just a lot of questions going this week, and the Bills got to win that a much needed win that they absolutely had to have. Let's just be honest with it. They had to have this W, and they got it. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. We're going to be talking about Joe Brady's debut, what we thought, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we saw, what we think we're going to see going forward. A couple interesting tidbit stats I have about him as well. We'll be talking about Rasual Douglas. Had a hell of a game the other day. 4 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Absolutely made an impact. We talk about that trade by Brandon Bean, and is that going to pay off dividends? How big is that's going to pay off as we head towards the end of the season? And we'll also be talking about Dalton Kincaid, a man who needs to be talked about more. Obviously, he's becoming that second option behind Stefon Diggs, an option that I will say we are not getting from Gabe Davis still to this day. So we have to talk about that tonight. But let's get to it. James, got my co-host in the building with James Mallory, former NFL running back. Mal, what you think from that Bills Jets game? Did you see what you need to see? Do you think they're going to build off this, or do you think, hey, the Jets are also falling and this was the end of their season pretty much?
I what I seen was a team that was getting their footing, right? Figuring this thing out. Who are we? What are we going to do, right? With the new OC. One thing you can't take for granted is a win in this league. Also a win against an elite defense, not a good defense, an elite defense. Um, they come out and score. What we score? Was it 31 on these? 30? Was it 30?
32. 32.
32. 32. Come on, score 32 against an elite defense like this. I mean, we can't take that for granted. These dudes, they can play some ball over there, and we came to their business, man. I'm very excited about what I see. We got to continue to build that. We got a tall task in front of us, obviously, with this line that the Eagles have, but I tell you, I'm confident in it. I'm very confident, but I love what I seen. And the defense was attack, 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 getting after it. The defense has their identity, have their swag. They just going and playing football right now. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the team. I never was really down at any point during the season. Me, as we came on JT week in and week out, I understand there's ups and downs in football. And if you look historically, there's always a 3-game patch in every season where our team with McDermott always looked like it just looks rough. It's like bad. It was a few years ago we got blown out. It was 3 weeks in a row, I believe, right?
It was
It's
the
like,
Saints. What was it? The Saints Steelers, and there was one more game, right?
yeah, we just couldn't get right. And I think it was one of those patches. I think we're gonna be all right. I said that a while ago.
Yeah. So I mean, pretty much seeing this game, obviously, I thought we saw a dominating performance. I want to get the defense day flowers right off the bat. Even though the Jets' offense is not that good, we know Zach Wilson is not the guy that they thought they got when they drafted him. But with that being said, the defense was absolutely dominant from the first snap of the game to the last snap of the game, pretty much now allowing the Jets to do anything on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, hell, they only averaged 2.9 yards per play with only putting up a total of 155 yards for the game. 92 passing, 63 rushing, and containing Brees Hall, who absolutely ran wild us in the first game of the season for over 100 yards to 10 carries
Yep.
to 23 yards. So they obviously came back to the drawing board on that one and stopped everything that the Jets did from week one this time around. So kudos to Sean McDermott and his defense for standing tall on that end. I got a question for you. Did you realize that Leonard Floyd has 9.5 sacks?
I did. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I was thinking in my head, I'm like 8 to 10 sacks would have been good for him this season. Like at the beginning when we first got him, I'm like, if he can give us eight sacks, we good. If he give us 10, that's even better. And that dude was red hot, man. He's balling. And you and I spoke earlier in the week. I was like, man, if it's 2 DNs that we can sign back, because we know Von Miller and Russo are going to be our starters next year. Not getting too far off topic, but I was talking about Leonard Floyd. Like, we can find a way to sign him, but I think he's positioning himself to get a decent payday. I would love for Jack Austin and Leonard Floyd to be our two backups next year. But with him, he's going to break out.
All right. No, I mean,
but don't forget, JT, how long have I been specialist?
I can't hear you, Jim. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you right now.
Am I there? Am I there?
You're here. You're here. You're just breaking up a little bit, a little distorted. We're sorry.
Am I back?
Yeah.
We'll leave and come back.
No, you gotta leave. It's probably just the data. It's all right.
Okay.
No, I think that the defense really just showed up and showed out. I think that they were sick of this Jets team. I think that the Jets is like the little brother who is annoying to Buffalo. They don't look at them as a peer. They look at him as an annoying little brother who occasionally will get a win. And then when they get that win, they never let you hear it. Never let you hear the end of it. And I think that's kind of what happened in the situation. The Buffalo really wanted to come out to shut them up. And obviously, this is a game where we lost Dane Jackson, we lost Taylor Rapp, and we already went into the game without Micah Hyde. Mm-hmm. And they were still able to just completely stop the Jets' offense and give them absolutely nothing. So, like I said, kudos to them. Ed Oliver, another sack this week as well. I think he's up to 6 for the season. And like I said, Leonard Floyd had 2.5 sacks this past game. So, And Tyrod Dodson, I must say, I've been saying that, man, he's probably one of the worst linebackers I ever watched play the game of football.
What did you think of him last week?
I thought he played well. But I want to see this week versus Philadelphia. I like to see better competition. You know what I mean? I'm not sold. I'm not sold at all, to be honest with you. I'm not even the slightest bit. But he played well this week. Well, and that's good. PFF gave him 92 grade. I have to go back and look and see what he did to get 92 grade, but that's what he got. But let's move on to our next topic. We'll go right into Rasual Douglas.
Am I back normal yet, JT? Can you hear me?
You're normal.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So we can go right into Rasual Douglas. Since we're already on the defense side of the ball. This is obviously the guy that Brandon Beane a couple weeks ago traded a third-round pick for. Obviously, after the unfortunate injury to Tre'Davious White losing him for the season. And now we have Kyrie Elam struggled, and now we have him on injured reserve. Douglas came to play, and I think that it shouldn't be much of a surprise because he's had moments like this throughout his career where he just turns into a ball hawk, a playmaker, and then it is inconsistent play at times. But this is why you go get a guy like him when you're trying to make a Super Bowl run, or in this matter, just make it to the damn playoffs. He has games like this. So at the end of the day, I think that this was his third game. Was this his third game in uniform or second game?
Yeah, third game.
Yeah, third game in uniform. Obviously, limited snaps versus the Bengals in the first game. A little bit more snaps versus the Broncos in the second game, and now obviously the full-time starter at this point in time, I would say, across from Christian Benford, I would say moving forward, he's going to be the first full-time starter. How important was this trade? Looking back at it now,
oh my God, it's huge. I love what Beane did because me personally, I would tell you how I would have messed up. I wouldn't have went and got a corner if I was a GM. I would have went and got a receiver. But he knew. I mean, they know their personnel. They know better than us. They do. They there every day, right? They in the building. And I never would have thought of Rasual Douglas. I wouldn't have. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't have thought of him. but that trade is looking brilliant, like brilliant right now. The way it's looking right now is he's going to be a starter next year here.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess that's up for debate because obviously we will get Tre'Davious White back at some point next year. I mean, and maybe he pushed the envelope to see if Tre'Davious White or somebody else is not in their long-term plans. I mean, I think Christian Burnford is pretty much settled in to where he's going to be at. I think he's locked that number 2 spot up moving forward, which is I think he's playing excellent. But I mean, the Bills do have a 9.
So you don't think Rasual Douglas and Trey White next year?
I don't think you said Benford. No, not at this point. I don't think you said Benford at all. Benford's been playing lights out. He's playing lights out. I think at this point in time. Well, I think at the cornerback's position that you can never have too many, and the Bills will have a $9 million option on Douglas following the season. So that's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that. If this turns into a rental, I don't think you normally give up a 3rd round pick for a rental player. So that's a little high capital for rental. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how quick Trey White's going to get back. Obviously, we know his rehab last time took a little bit of time. But then we have to think about the safety position.
That was a tougher injury, right? Because I mean, people, from what I've seen, and I'm not talking Aaron Rodgers, just in general, people are coming back faster from torn Achilles tendons lately, the last few years.
Well, the problem with Trey last time is Trey didn't just tear his Achilles. He also tore his PCL, which people did not know last time as well. So that's really why the recovery took long. And they discovered the PCL tear later on after the ACL tear. So that's why his rehab took a longer. So I don't know what pace or where he's going to be at for rehab this time around. I don't want to say it's easy, but it should be easier because you've already kind of been through it once. But yeah, it's going to be a decision the Bills going to have to make going into next year. And maybe you keep him. Maybe you try to move like one of these guys back to safety. You know, that is out. That also will
I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think they're just going to load that room up. Me personally,
they could.
Somebody I just don't see none going to safety.
And somebody could be trade capital too. Okay, just as quickly as people come in, they can go out. But other than that, I think Douglas is making a hell of an impact. He was PFF's highest graded player last week, with a total grade of 96.3. He was targeted 4 times, 0 catches, 2 interceptions, 1 pass breakup, and he had the 2 tackles and the fumble recovery. So, like I said, impact was there. I think too, you know, it's nice having a bigger corner side because it seemed like the whole time we've had Trey White his entire career, it's always been a cornerback, like almost the same size. Like EJ Gaines, always been a smaller guy on the opposite side of Trey. Obviously, we don't have him right now, but currently we have Rasual Douglas at 6'2", and Ben First had a small cornerback. So this is probably the first time I've known under McDermott we've had. Or Elam.
If you notice, they shifted to a different style of corner, right? They're going to more bigger physical corners.
Yeah, because they want to play more man. They want to be able to attack receivers at the line of scrimmage. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting. I think that Rasual Douglas trade is going to play off big time. Other than that, I mean, this is a guy who's playing a lot of important football games. You know, so there's not going to get to the playoffs if they make it, where it's going to be a point in time where is going to be this moment is too big for him. It seemed like he attacks competition as well too. He's a very competitive guy. So kudos to him. Hell of a game from Douglas. Great welcome to Buffalo moment. And we see we got this week coming up against Philly. I mean, we got 2 dogs across that field from him, so he got to show up this week as well. But moving on.
If I'm not mistaken, that's a return to Philly. He played for Philly before, right?
He played Philly for 3 seasons.
Okay. I thought so. That's a return back to Philly.
Return game. It's a return game. So, moving on to the biggest topic of the week was interim offensive coordinator Joe Brady. What was going to happen? How this offense was going to look? And yes, as the title says, the Brady era begins in Buffalo. Not Tom, but Joe. All right. So obviously, neither one of us were on board with firing Ken Dorsey. Neither one was on board with firing Ken Dorsey in the middle of the football season. The more I thought about it this week, the more I said, okay, hey, maybe this wasn't the worst idea if you didn't want to continue with him following this season. I'll get into why I think it wasn't that bad of a deal now a little later on. But we start the era. It had a little bit different feel from it about it, right? McDermott's been asking to run the football with the running backs for the past probably about 3 or 4 years, it feels like, right? Well, in this game, James Cook got you 17 for 73, went 17 for 73. Latavius Murray gave you 10 for 35, and Ty Johnson gave you 3 for 11. So total, that's 30 carries by the running backs. And it's not like the weather, and it wasn't due to the weather. That tells you right there alone, there was a little bit different philosophy going into this game. It kept Josh Allen under control. Josh Allen, a cool 20 of 32, 275, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Obviously, we know the interception came before halftime, which was a Hail Mary. We're not really going to knock him for that turnover. But, yeah. What'd you think of Joe Brady's debut? What you see?
Me, personally, Joe Brady's debut, I love it because he featured the running backs, right? I think that was very, very important to be able to. I think we got some weapons in that running back room, right? And for him to come out and feature those running backs, man, I think that was phenomenal. We came out, we took care of business. And also he was able to get Kincaid that ball, right? He is able to make him that second option, like we discussed, right? And even though Gabe Davis hasn't been effective in the receiving game, he's able to find a role for him while he is going to play a lot of snaps, right? He's able to find a role for him where he's able to contribute in the offense, meaning he's blocking, he's springing people for big runs. He's able to contribute without the ball in his hands, which I think is very valuable. If he's not going to be productive as a receiver and we're going to have to play this dude, hey, he's able to block and be an asset in the running game. So I think that's something that people are overlooking because he's not getting those stats. So I think Joe Brady is like, hey, listen, if he's going to be on the field, we're going to figure out a way to use him and be able to, make him an asset. And I think they really did. And then obviously Shakir came through big time. Man, that was major. Offensive line, shout out. JT, you was hired on Spencer Brown. I was a Spencer Brown fan. He holding it down this year. You heard me? He doing his thing. So very proud of the offensive line, man. I think we got a stud in our rookie, right guard. McGovern. Yeah, McGovern. People's not talking about him, and there were some people out there on Twitter who was dogging him. I ain't gonna say no names. Negative people were dogging him before when we made that signing, but it came out to look like a pretty good signing right now. So, man, I love what Joe Brady did that first game, and I think we can continue to build on this.
Yeah, don't be out here bullying nobody on social media. No. After that went out to say. After that went out. I'm on my JT man. But no, I thought the offensive line played well. I personally, like I said, I saw a few wrinkles with Ken Dorsey. I did see a lot of Ken Dorsey's offense still within it. But to me, it seemed like the focus was more on the run game. And I've been pounding the table since Brian Daboll to focus on the run game more because I've been saying the run game is going to be Josh Allen's best friend, short term and long term for his career. Not even just week in, week out. It's just literally long term thinking. The run game is going to be his best friend. It's going to keep him balanced. It's going to keep this offense balanced, and it's going to keep the defense off of him. And that's my man said. Rick said it's going to keep teams as they kept the Jets honest. It's going to keep other teams honest. We're one of the few teams in the league that have tried out the 5 starting offensive linemen every single game. That means a lot, especially going into this type of year. Okay. I like the fact that he kept the game simple. And like I said, I don't know if the firing Ken Dorsey got into Josh Allen and showed him like, hey, listen, this is your guy. I'm firing him now because of your performance. You need to change your style of play. Listen, people can say what they want to say about Sean McDermott's leadership, all they want. He's been asking for the same thing from Josh Allen for the last 3 years. Don't play reckless. Don't take those meaningless hits on your body. Keep it simple. And he's been asking each coordinator to run the football. He's right on this one. He's 100% correct. And I get it. I get that throwing the football is a new way to NFL, but you cannot throw the football effectively for 17 or 18 games or 19 to 20 games if you're going to the playoffs if you don't have some sort of a running game. So Sean McDermott is 100% right on this one. And I think he's looking at it from a defensive coordinator's perspective of how would I coach against this? Okay. You know what? There's one little tidbit that I found out about Joe Brady as I was going through his history this week. Do you know where he went to college at?
I did not.
William and Mary.
I don't know.
William and Mary.
He a William and Mary guy too. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
He's a William and Mary guy too. So this makes a whole lot more sense to me. As we know, Sean McDermott is a William and Mary guy. Marv Levy, William and Mary guy. Mike Tomlin, William and Mary guy. But the whole point being is this is probably a guy that him and Sean McDermott have some sort of connection here. It's probably a guy that he could connect with, tell him what he wants him to do while keeping the passing game honest, but he's going to get the return because just as Joe Brady's doing, this is his job interview for it's going to be this OC job or other OC jobs. This is his interview. So at the end of the day, I think the William and Mary connection makes a lot of sense. The fact that he chose Joe Brady makes a lot, and not that he had much choice firing your coordinator in the middle of NFL season. You don't. But this may be a guy he's been eyeing since he got to Buffalo. So maybe this was his plan all along. I don't know, but it could have been. This could have been his successor to whoever he wanted to bring in outside of Ken Dorsey, if he did not want to bring Ken Dorsey in there as OC or keep him as OC. We know Josh influenced that one a lot. But either way, I thought that Joe Brady, he kept it simple. So that brings me to my next question. Can Brady's offense limit Josh Allen's turnovers? James, do you think that it will be the offense that can keep Josh in check and stop turning and kind of cut down some of these turnovers that has been killing us? Or do you think it's simply Josh?
I think it can. Because you're going to have an effective run game where he's not going to feel as much to press, right? Where he got to make the play, right? Where it's like he's pressing to make a play. I don't think he'll have to do that the way Ty Johnson. He's making it hard. I seen the question about Fournette. He's making it hard to play Fournette because that dude is playing really, really well. Ty Johnson's playing really, really well. Obviously, Latavius Murray's playing well, and then obviously Cook. If those guys can get rolling, we're going to win a game this year where Josh Allen only got to throw the ball 25 times. There's going to come a time we're going to be just rolling. We're only going to have to throw the ball 25 times because our run game is going to be so effective. That's the way it's looking right now. And don't forget, y'all, we have a couple games like that. I know we love to see Josh Allen in the offense, high power, throwing the ball around. We have a game like that. That keeps Josh Allen fresh. That keeps him fresh. That does better for him in the long run. You know, if we can have a game or two where he really doesn't have to throw the ball very much, that's only going to help us, right? So I think it can help him limit those turnovers for that reason, where effective running game, you got to put extra man in the box to count in that run, fit in for that run game. And then that'll give Josh a lot more opportunities to be able to have favorable matches on the outside in regards to the wide receivers and, you know, the tight ends, our weapons in the passing game.
Like I said, once again, going through Joe Brady's history, he was under Sean Payton with the Saints. Then he went to LSU. Obviously, we know LSU, he was not OC, he was the passing game coordinator and the wide receivers coach. And by the way, if you want to know what position he played at William Mary was wide receiver. So that is his position. And then obviously we know the short stint with Matt Rule in Carolina, which was an absolute disaster. And I actually researched that a lot this week too to see what happened. And I guess it was just they felt like his offense would not work in the NFL, and it was not working in the NFL. Now, whether that was due to the roster of the Carolina Panthers or Joe Brady just kind of being inexperienced and taking that jump to the NFL maybe a little sooner or than he should have, That's to be debated. But at the end of the day, it could have been a combination. So he's been around now. He's with Buffalo for second year, right? As a QB's coach.
Second year, yes, because he can't.
Second year as a
When
QB's
Dorsey
coach.
took the OC, he took the quarterback coach out.
Right. So let's say it's going to be interesting to see what he does with this team. I'd like to see how he can get Gabe Davis involved because I think you're going to need an extra piece. And if you can't get Gabe involved when Dawson Knox comes back, you got to find a way to get Dawson Knox involved. One of those two guys has to be involved on a weekly basis for this to work.
I think Gabe Davis is gonna have a couple. I think he's gonna string a couple games on where he's really balling. I think what's gonna be dangerous about us with him, and I've been tough on him. I've been tough on him, and I'm gonna continue to be. What's going to be tough for teams is you come into the playoffs. Hopefully, we do make it with everything we got. We take care of business, which I'm confident we will. He goes into the playoffs, and then you have a healthy Gabe Davis with a lot of usage. He can become dangerous. He can become real dangerous in the playoffs for somebody. Definitely.
Right. And my man Charles Blakely says, I'm going to start reading these comments off pretty soon here. He makes a great point. He said, instead of prioritizing the need to score every possession, focus on protecting the ball and the points will come. Defense is playing too good to give away possessions. And he's 100% right about that. Because even though we went down in the Jets and our first three possessions, we had 3 field goals, that was still three scores. And there's been a lot of games where we're not getting those scores on the first and second possession because either we're getting knocked out of field goal range by sacks or turning the ball over down that area or something catastrophic happening. It's just keep putting points on the board. So I have to keep we have to keep it. We have to keep that going. It's as simple as that. Especially as we get into these games versus like the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Dolphins. The name of the game is to score.
Yep.
And like I said, don't give away possessions. I agree with Travis in that one. But no, I think that Brady, I think he will limit Allen's turnovers. I don't think it'll be just his philosophy though. I think 60% of this is going to be on Josh Allen. And I think that part of the reason that Ken Dorsey was fired was a message from Sean McDermott, like, hey, man, get your bleep together.
Yep.
Because he's foreshadowing. Putting you on notice because by me firing Ken Dorsey, hell, this could be me. I could be losing my job. Yep. Josh Allen's a whole lot safer in Buffalo than Sean McDermott is. So and honestly, I don't think it just put Josh. I think it put the whole damn offense on notice. Except for Stefon Diggs, because Stefon Diggs wakes up on notice and he goes to bed on notice. He eats, sleeps, and he's always on notice. He's always ready to go. That's one thing I'll give Stefon Diggs. So, end of the day, man, I think that the message is clear, and I think Josh is going to receive it, and I think that Sean McDermott is finally going to get that consistent running game he's been asking for. Yep. Like I said last week, it was clear cut that it was never the running backs. I think that we can answer that question with the performance of Devin Singletary starting the last 2 weeks in Houston and Zach Moss starting for half the season in Indianapolis before Jonathan Taylor came back. It was never the running backs now. I think we can definitively answer that it was not the running backs. It was either the scheme or just or the lack of the commitment in general to the running game. So now Joe Brady's going to bring that out. As much as you like Ty Johnson and as well as Ty Johnson is playing well, I agree with you there. But somebody has to sit for Leonard Fournette. I know there's been a lot of questions about Fournette. Listen, my take is this. Leonard Fournette has a Super Bowl ring for a reason. Mm-hmm. Leonard Fournette was a first-round draft pick for a reason. Leonard Fournette is a dog, and I still think he got a lot of dog in him. I think that maybe he took the game for granted a little bit after winning that Super Bowl, got a little bit out of shape, and couldn't just couldn't get back that whole season. But if you're asking me, do I put Leonard Fournette in over Ty Johnson or Latavius? Listen, if you like Ty Johnson that much, that's cool. I got no issues with it. This is a guy who's played a lot of meaningful snaps. Well, not meaningful, but a lot of snaps at this level. Well, then you got to take Latavius Murray out the field. One of those two guys got to come out the field.
I think you can activate all four. I think you activate all four for at least 1 or 2 games. I think you can.
Certain games you can. Certain games you will be able to. But my thing is, if you roll a 4, what position are you taking from them?
Probably have to be the D line.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm not totally against it. I'm not totally against it, but
this will be the perfect week if one of those DBs gonna sit. That's a spot right there.
Yeah. I mean, we got to put Leonard Fournette in sooner or later. I don't want this Leonard Fournette thing to turn into a what do I want to call it? A TJ Yeldon situation.
Yeah.
Where we never get to see what this person brings us up the last game of the NFL season when you're sitting your starters. I don't want to see that turn into, and I don't think Joe Brady wants to turn into that. And if he's going to utilize the running game,
I think he's gonna ball. Yo, JT.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna ball, bro.
Yeah. But man, Mud Dog says he thinks Lenny's gonna be unleashed after the bye week. I know you've been saying that too. You think after the bye week.
And he got fresh legs, man. And at this time of the year, man, fresh legs, man. Oh man, fresh legs, and he hungry. He playing for his career right now.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, any more insight onto the Joe Brady era beginning? Do you know what I was gonna say? I know this. I was thinking. I didn't say it yet. One of the things that I think McDermott may have picked that moment to fire Ken Dorsey and promote Joe Brady is we know that it normally takes 3 games of film for defense coordinator to start picking your offense apart to see what your game plan is.
They usually say a quarter, usually 4.
So 4? Okay, so we'll say 4, right?
Yeah, usually about 4.
This is the hardest stretch of 4 games in our Buffalo Bills season this year. Obviously, with the Jets, who we struggled against. I mean, you can say what you want to say about the Jets, but we have struggled against them.
Yep.
Then you got the Eagles, the Chiefs, and then the Cowboys. If you can go into these games, those teams, at least 2 of those teams are somewhat unprepared because they don't have any footage or any knowledge of what you're going to do or what you're going to run, then you take that and you run with it. So maybe strategically, McDermott picked that very moment on purpose.
Yeah.
Could have been.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
No, it would. It would. And if he did that, like I said, once again, you have to give him a pat on the back for making that tough call. But that in itself may save the Buffalo Bills season. It may not either. It may come back and bite them in the ass. We'll have to see what happens. But I want to move on. I want to talk about Dalton Kincaid, right? So this is a guy who has had strung together multiple good games. Okay. In this last contest versus the Jets, he hauled in 6 catches for 46 yards. Now, I didn't think he'd be the number 2 option in this offense until next season. Obviously, it's a little bit ahead of schedule, probably due to their lack thereof production of one Gabe Davis. I'm going to say it again. How important do you think it is for Kincaid to keep progressing into not only be a playmaker, but also he's becoming a safety net for Allen?
Dude, this is huge. I mean, I didn't expect this at all until next year. Right now, I knew he would do well. Don't get me wrong. But to be the option to be this good, I ain't gonna lie. Even coming out of college, I was like, I mean, I think people have unrealistic expectations, but I was dead ass wrong. This dude has very short hands. He can play. He's tough as hell. Man, he's special. And he's our legitimate number 2 option right now. He's reliable, and that safety net where Josh Allen, he's in a pickle, he's going right to him. That Cole Beasley effect that we had, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen has that right now. He does. Where if he's in a jam, boom, he's looking for Kincaid, got him, right? And I think that's going to go a long way. But I think that's where it's going to come to a team that's going to game plan for that, right? He may have one or two catches. That's going to be the game that Gabe Davis goes off. That's going to be it. We're going to be like, wait, hey, where was this at all season? That's going to be the game where he goes off.
One of the underrated things about Kincaid right now is his run blocking. Obviously, we know that when they drafted him, that was not listed as one of his strong points. Well, with that being said, he's looking pretty solid as a run blocker. And I said in the offseason when we did a segment of they drafted Kincaid that even though he would not be a great inline run blocker at this point in his career, I'm not saying he ever will be or he won't be. I don't know. And that's going to be based on development. That putting a guy that's 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds in the slot, blocking a cornerback, no matter what, was going to be somewhat of a mismatch.
Yep.
So, and that's exactly what's been happening. He's been mauling nickel cornerbacks. Yeah, is he going to go out there and maul a linebacker? No, probably not. No, he won't at this point. At this stage, in this point, no, he won't.
But he's a better blocker than I thought.
Oh yeah. Well, I will say this: what was making him a better blocker is he's a willing blocker.
Yep.
And that I think those are two things that people often confuse. A blocker who does not want to block, does not want to touch anybody, which is a bad blocker, and a blocker who may not be great at it, but is willing and wants to get out there and do their best at it. That's what he's becoming. If you look at the Shakir touchdown pass this week, Shakir may have kept going and may have still beat those defenders to the end zone, but Dalton Kincaid's block on those two defenders guaranteed it.
Yep.
So, like I say, I think as his career goes on, he's going to be a better blocker. I go back just a couple years ago, Devin Singletary, when he first came to the NFL. He was a terrible blocker.
Yep.
Absolutely terrible. He got better as it because he was willing.
Yep.
So, I think this is huge for the Buffalo Bills, though. I think it's huge for them if they're going to extend the season, if they're going to go deep into the season, if they're going to go to the postseason. This is going to be huge. Because like you said, yeah, if they have the game plan for Kincaid, then you're going to leave openings for other people, whether it's a Gabe Davis, whether it's a Khalil Shakir, whether it's Deontay Hardy, or if it's just simply the running game.
Yep.
This pick single-handedly, if his maturation continues, could change the outlook of this Buffalo Bill offense for the next 5 to 6 years.
This dude's special, man. He's special.
The only thing I would like him to see is I like to see him avoid some of those hits he's taking on his legs. I know he's a rookie. I know he's energetic. I like to see him shed a few more. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, the thing is, he's very physical.
Very, very. He got some buck in his heart. Ain't nothing finesse about him in regards to like when draft stuff when he's coming out, the way they were making it seem like he has a lot of finesse. Man, that dude, he come with it.
Yeah, no. So the Bills are reaping the benefits of that draft pick, and my man Cody Wells says he will be the best tight end in the league in the next 3 to 5 years, and I don't doubt that. To be honest with you, I don't doubt that at all. My boy Mud Dog says he has improved drastically since college. I believe Ray Cruz is speaking about Leonard Fournette. Let him lose. We wait. It will cost us maybe. I agree. I if it's me, we're back to the Fournette thing. I would activate him this week. I personally would. I would activate him this week and see what he got. So we're gonna get some questions in a minute. But any final thoughts on that Bills Jets game from any aspect of the game?
Special teams. I think they heard us loud and clear. The first play of the game, they came out to set the tone. People were talking about how bad special teams was, including me. I was a leader of that. They came out, they set the tone. First play of the game. Come down, make a big hit, make a big play, set the tone for the game. We here. They set that tone. So I want to give a shout to that special teams. Let's keep that up. But otherwise, man, I think we played a really solid game. I think that's going to be us. I don't think we're going to be a flashy team. If we want to win a Super Bowl this year, that's not our. I don't think that's our our makeup this year. I think it's going to be a lot more physical, and what people don't think we would be. I think that's what this team is right now, and I'm all for it. I'm around for it.
My mic's on mute. Yeah, I think my mic's on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be some gritty wins for sure. 110%. It's gonna be some gritty wins. It's not gonna be all just style points. But I will also say
Yeah.
this: Khalil Shakir, and we've been saying it for 2 years now. He needs to be implemented into this game plan more.
Yep.
He got some burners to him. He has
Mm-hmm.
some serious burners. And I think he's a sure-handed guy that you can trust. They got to put him on the field more, even if there's some points and times where you have to pull Gabe Davis off the field and pull some of his reps.
Yeah.
When Shakir's on the field, he's been impacting. So it's a guy that I would even go as far as this. If you choose to let Gabe Davis walk in the offseason, you still probably need to get another receiver or another rookie in here or something. But I would be comfortable with Khalil Shakir as your number 2 receiver. And one reason I'm comfortable with him, because you know he can run the entire route tree.
Yeah. Yeah, we gonna dig into that. I like that. I think next year we'll sign a veteran, and we're gonna draft somebody in the first round. That's my opinion.
At receiver.
Shuffle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Shakir is gonna be a baller. I like him. It's just finding his exact role in the offense, and I think he's gonna take off with it. I really like what he's been bringing. He brings a dynamic we really don't have. We talk outside of Diggs, right? Um, if we can get the ball in his hands 3 to 5 times a game, I think that can really help this offense a lot.
I told you I was talking to Emo because he trains with Eric Modes down in Carolina in the offseason. And I was talking to him about Shakir, and I was asking him, where did he see his position being? Outside, inside. And I remember actually, I'm actually gonna if you give me 1 second here, I'm actually I don't want to try to quote it. I'm just gonna read exactly what he said about Shakir. And it was actually very promising. And obviously Eric is a guy that I respect his opinion very much.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy who eats, sleeps, and lives football down there coaching in Carolina and training multiple athletes, a guy that played multiple sports. So if he says something, I'm definitely going to listen. But when I was asking him, I'm just like, listen, what do you see his role being? Because I think we went to the offseason questioning, well, is he going to be the new slot? Is he taking over the boundary? Are we going to move Diggs more inside? We didn't really know what we were going to do with him. So
Yeah.
let me see if I can find this if my phone loads up here really quick and just see what I was talking about to Modes there. Let me ask you this question as I look this up. Where would you like to see him, on the boundary or the inside?
I think he could be an outside receiver. I think he could be that number 2. I think he could be outside. And man, if we could just come with a bunch of versatile receivers, man, that could be just such a headache.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, now I found it. Let's see what I say. I had asked Eric. And actually I hit him up after he scored that touchdown too. I asked him, I said, what do you think? Do you see him on the boundary more or the slot position? I watched him every play at Boise State, every year at Boise State, and I know he can play the X, Y, and Z. So most responsible, I think he'll be able to do both the Z and the slot. They will be able to use him any way possible. He just has to go and show him now. He said, by the time it's said and done, you will see a different Shakir. Trust me, was Eric Moe's last words about Khalil Shakir to me. Was you going to see a different Shakir? Trust me. So with that being said, I think we already I think we're already seeing a different Shakir. Um,
Yep.
if you want to go to his stats, and like I said, this is really based off a lot of his stats are affected by playing time. It has nothing to even do with um what the Bills or what he's doing. It's just literally what the limited time the Bills are giving him. So if you go back to November 5th game versus the Bengals, 4 catches, 57 yards. One catch versus the Broncos for 24 yards when the offense didn't play well at all. Then versus the Jets, 3 catches for 115 yards. So he's averaging 16.5 yards a catch this season with 2 touchdowns. And he has 363 yards on the season. Now, I just want to see what Gabe Davis's yardage is. Just for ha-has. I'm not sure where he is for yards on the season, but I'm going to go check it really quick because I like to know where he stands compared to Khalil Shakir's 363. Well, Gabe Davis at 490 yards. He's a full-time starter. So, just saying, man. Get Khalil Shakir on the field, and good things will happen. Been saying this since last year. I'll keep saying it. Give him the ball, and good things will happen. But other than that, James, I mean, I know everybody is it's a little later for everybody. I know everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow, and you get a chance to eat. I'm probably one of the few people that are kind of happy the Bills are not playing on Thanksgiving this year.
I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy.
I hate the short week for them, and then I also don't like disrupting my dinner. I like seeing other people teams get their ass kicked on Thanksgiving. I'm not saying we haven't lost Thanksgiving yet, but just saying in general, I much rather enjoy my dinner without the stress of if they're going to win or lose this football game. But no, man. My man John McCartney said I had enough of primetime games. I am with you. I listen. Give me Sunday 1:00 every game out of 4:25. I'm cool with it at this point in time. But no, any final thoughts before we get off here?
My final thoughts are, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. I like that we're a physical team because we've had trouble in the past with very physical teams, and I think we bout that life, right? So just do what we do. Be patient in regards to we still find our identity. To be honest with you, like offensively, like what we want to do, what's our bread and butter, right? Just be patient with it. Do what we do, and just stack them up one game at a time, man. Don't get overwhelmed and try to get it all back in 1 week. One game at a time, and we good.
Sound a lot like Coach McDermott, he's been saying. And he's right. He's right. You know, I know people say it's a broken record.
Otherwise, you'll get overwhelmed.
Huh? What'd you say?
So other than that, you'll get overwhelmed. It's easier to look ahead, and you like, wow, we got to win this game and this game. Just take it one game at a time. You'll be fine, man. Just don't overwhelm yourself. We good.
Heading into Philly. Is this a game that you've been saying that this is a game you're not worried about? That they don't scare you?
Yeah, they don't. The teams that when I look at the rest of our schedule, I'm not saying we guaranteed to win. I'm not saying that. Even if we lose this week, it's not the end of the world. It is not. But hopefully we don't. Let me get that out of the way. But this team's like the Chargers. Teams like that give me more of a headache or like, damn, what's going to happen? As opposed to Philly, right? Philly's coming off some physical game. Philly's beat up, man. Jalen Hurts is beat up, man. If you watch that game the other night, now Kansas City defense is good. He's beat up, right? AJ's not. He had 8 yards, right? These guys are gonna like, hold on, even though they won, he's 9-1 right now, right? But a situation where it's like, hold on, man, like we got some stuff to work out. I think if we come in there and do what we do, I think they'll start pressing. And then that'll put us in a good position, I believe. And that's my opinion. Because teams, they don't anticipate us getting physical, just getting buck with them, running the ball. That's not what the Bills have been. The Bills have been a team throwing the ball around the yard, winning with Josh Allen's arm. And that's really not the case. Like, yeah, his arm is a part of winning, obviously. But when you got Cook, who's third in the league rushing,
Yeah,
When the last time we had the running back guy, LaShawn McCoy?
yeah, Shady.
So I think that means a lot. That goes a long way. And now you got a game plan for him. So I think we'll be all right. Come Sunday, I think we do. We will be all
I'll
right.
tell you what, you win this Eagles game, and this is gonna propel this team into a way different vibe and a way different category that they've been in all season.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go into Dallas and you're gonna go into Chiefs extremely confident. And
Yep.
I think this is a win that they need. Like I said, they don't have to have it if they lose. Like you said, I agree with you. It's not the end of the world if they don't get it. It does make the road a lot tougher. But if they do win this game, watch out. Watch out. So I don't want to get too much into it. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, the Bills 32, Jets 6. Joe Brady, very, very good debut. Love the fact that we got the running game involved. We'll wait to be seen if Leonard Fournette is going to play this week. Obviously, still some injury news. Tyler Rapp seems like he has a stinger. He may be able to play this week. Micah Hyde probably will be back. Dane Jackson in concussion protocol. Teron Johnson, concussion protocol. Kind of feel like Teron will come out of the protocol. I'm not too sure about Dane. Dane took a pretty tough hit there.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean, he was knocked out cold. So I don't know if he's going to be able to clear that protocol within a week with that. But other than that, I mean, right now,
question: do we use all our call ups for Josh Norman? I think we did, didn't we?
I don't believe we did.
I think we talked about 3 times.
Did we use them last week?
No, I think we used them 3 times. I'm not totally sure.
Okay. Maybe we may have. So I'll have to check on that. Maybe I got Leroy can check on that for us.
No mud dog on
it. Yeah, no mud dog gonna know if anybody gonna know. So, but yeah, no. Like I said, one game at a time. Keep it simple. Keep putting points on the board. Limit the turnovers, and no matter who we play, this team is capable of beating. I will say this though. Leonard Von Miller looks like he's starting to get that first step back. I watched him every time he was on the field this game, and that step week by week is getting quicker. Now, I don't know if the confidence is there about the twitchiness and the lateral movement, but the first step is getting there. I mean, I believe on one of the sacks, they did have to double him because he was quick getting off the edge. So he is now starting to affect the game, where I could say 2 weeks ago, Von Miller was having no effect on the game except a mental that he was there.
Yep.
Physically, he is starting to affect that football game. So hopefully he gets those wheels turning a little bit more. He gets more confident. He gets that lateral movement. Now we're in business.
He get his first sack this week.
Okay. We'll look on that one. May I put that one on a parlay? May I put that one on a parlay? I'm just joking. I'll bet on football. Too stressful. Well, other than that, guys, I want to tell everybody thank you for tuning in tonight. As always, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for commenting. This is brought to you by Checkers. Make sure you guys take the time tomorrow. Make sure you guys take the time tomorrow to spend time with your family. Eat your Thanksgiving Day dinner. We don't have to worry about no football game this time around this year. So enjoy it.
No Thanksgiving Day Bills injuries this year.
Yeah, none. Thank God, none. Because like the last 2 years, man, it's like it curses some shit. Excuse my language. But yeah. Other than that, enjoy your families. Enjoy the win this week. We got the Eagles coming on Sunday. Big game. Big game. We need it. And guess what? If they don't win, it's going to be a lot of questions on the table. If they do, they're going to silence a lot of doubters and haters a little bit more. So other than that, Thank you guys for tuning in. Catch you guys later. Go Bills. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Peace.